Good evening, everyone. Welcome to my channel, Master Ascension Witch, or for the Facebook page, Mystery School of Witches. We're on mantra number 17 from my book, 33 Master Ascension Mantras and Prayer. And I already love this video because we're going to talk about the lesson after this mantra. I am also very, very happy today because I got to meet. Where are you, love? I'm gonna get there, Jennifer. Don't worry. I'm getting there. I will show you where I'm at. Or not show you, but I'll tell you. I had the pleasure of meeting two very important people today. I met a dear friend of mine who is a DJ in New York, who I love very, very dearly from the bottom of my heart, who I've had the pleasure of knowing since I was 19, going on 20. And yeah, it was very sudden because I didn't want to pass through New York without meeting him. And with everything that had happened in Salem, I was, caught in the moment on my way to New York. I was like, I gotta let him know that I'm passing through New York in case he wants to say hi, because we never met before. But we have always healed each other through the phone, and he always liked my music and I liked his music. So like it was only, yeah, I was in New York because all the routes from Boston to DC were sold out. So I had to do like this like whole loop. So I had to go through New York, and I never been to New York before ever. But I loved it. I fell in love with it. It had like my vibe, my go-getter vibe, my take action vibe, the hustle vibes. I was like, woo! I loved it. I love those tall buildings and that public transportation system. It was just beautiful to see for myself. And I got the pleasure of meeting a Reiki master who came to, like, it was just so weird. Like, he knew I needed medicine. Like, he came giving me CBD, a CBD lollipop and CBD gummies, because like I have been in pain for the past month and a half, and like my whole trip from New York to DC was so relaxing, and I was able to sleep. Like, I'm like so grateful for him giving me that CBD, because like I've been nauseous this whole trip and I haven't been, yeah, all indeed. So like he gave me some CBD and I was fine. And then I made arrangements to meet another mentor of mine and friend, sister, a mom and grandma I wish I had. Jennifer, I'm staying at Rosa J's right now. Yes, I'm in Rosa J's house right now. I'm going to be spending some time with her before I go back to Cali. And I kind of don't want to go back to Cali because I love this woman and I want to be around her. She reminds me how amazing God is. But yeah, I'm on her couch right now in the presence of all her plant friends. Say hello to her plant friends. I don't know if you can see them. But say hello to her plant helpers. I feel like I'm in a laboratory right now. She is in DC. I'm not in New York right now. I'm out in New York. I'm sorry I haven't been keeping in touch with you. I was just passed out. So today's mantra, a jungle house. Yeah, it feels like a laboratory in here. It even sounds like a laboratory in here. Today's mantra is, God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined ascended right here, right now. I'm gonna use this as a mala. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending, right here, right now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending, right here, right now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. God, I am not this karma. I let this karma go. God, I am the ascended self, destined, ascended, ascending right here and now. So, the short lesson that I have that I'm going to be talking about is how what happened in Salem taught me not to seek anything other than God for wisdom, knowledge, and healing and freedom, and that anything not of God and outside myself cannot bring me those things. I would never want people kissing my feet. I would never feel comfortable with people kissing my feet. I would feel comfortable with people washing my feet maybe or massaging my feet, but never kissing my feet or worshiping me. During that sermon, everyone had called themselves Christ, and it caused me to go into tears because if Christ was there, he would be flipping tables, I'm pretty sure. And if he were to watch the way they conducted themselves, I mean, it would probably stir up a very upset Christ. Because I don't think Christ wanted us to even worship him or worship anything like that, or people, to rely on people so much for knowledge and healing and to pay them so much. In fact, I recall stories in the Bible of Christ shunning people for charging others an arm and a leg to receive healings that God can give for free. Paying an arm and a leg for healings that they shall probably never receive, but believe they are receiving. Christ taught us how to love, and loving people is not worshiping them. I just gotta throw that out there. But yes, Christ taught us how to love. And love and worship are two different things. And worship, I believe, is to be reserved only for God. Because everything comes from God. It doesn't come from an imperfect being. Like, we're all imperfect beings. I don't want to say that Christ was imperfect. But if he really was the Son of God, and if he was God reincarnated, then he chose not to be perfect. But his spirit, though, and the power he had through himself, that's a different story. That is perfect, I guess. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that God created imperfection and still loves it. So God joined imperfection and still chose to love it. And there's something very beautiful about that. Because during the Mystery School of Covens, we were in meditation. Christ knew the human struggle because he joined us. It's not easy being human. To be human means, we chose to be imperfect. We chose to experience flaws, to observe imperfection. But yet, through God, all things are made perfect. And I keep on getting distracted. All this bouncing. Bounce, bounce, bounce. I'm using Rosa J's camera holder thing. I feel that's better. This is way more personal and I can talk. Okay, so Christ became imperfection. And I don't know, I'm just very confused about that though. I don't believe that Christ was entirely, literally God incarnate. But I don't think that he was really, entirely human. Because, to experience death. Hi, Danielle. Hello. Hello. I feel a spell of silence coming over me. Someone doesn't want me to talk about Christ, I guess. But may Christ, Christ, come and clarify this for us, please. Okay? We were talking about how you did not want to be worshipped. You allowed your feet to be washed, but they were never kissed. And I'm pretty sure when the disciples were worshiping them, he told them not to worship him. And my lesson in Salem was basically not to seek out power or to seek out someone for the answers or to pay thousands of dollars for something that God can give for free. That was my lesson. And that Just remember that. God gives all things for free. There is no price for the healing that God gave. Jesus did not make money off of his healings. And Jesus shunned people for charging others for receiving healings. For charging an arm and a leg, he shunned them. There's a difference between charging people to eat. My whole time I was in Salem, and when I did readings, to some of the guests that would pass by me, that was to help me feed. It was to put food in my belly. People had offered me meals, but I had told them I wasn't too concerned about eating because somehow, some way, something I would do a service for someone would provide food in my belly. So they were always like, "No, let me treat you," and I was like, "Nah, nah, nah," because I wasn't too concerned about eating. I went there to serve. I went there to heal people and myself. So eating was out of the question. But I was still very appreciative of people, offering me food or, this and that. But never go out into the wilderness. And I say that symbolically or metaphysically because I basically went out into the wilderness. Never go out into the wilderness because someone is promising you, spiritual gold or something that only God can give. Because most likely when you go there, you're not going to find it. And if you believe you are finding it, most likely you haven't. Because see, those type of things can only come from God. You cannot search outside of yourself or to external forces and expect to receive the same healing that God can give, because those things can only come from God. And Christ had warned us about the dangers of worshiping false prophets or following false prophets, because eventually you go from following them to worshiping them, and that's dangerous. So that was my lesson. That was the lesson for me. So don't get wrapped up in the external, because the Spirit of God is within you, and you not need to turn to the outside. But as Jennifer said, truth can be found within. And, sometimes what's going on within doesn't always feel good. The whole time I was there, I was getting messages from my spirit. And that was the truth within, that was the Spirit of God within telling me that I wasn't supposed to be there, that something was wrong. It wasn't until the actual Easter service they had I realized what was wrong. And what I experienced with Valerie Love, I could have totally cussed her out or, thrown a chair at her or caused a scene. But, and I said that, yeah, don't ever start a church. And this person wants to start, a Christian witch church. And in my opinion, let the church fall. It's written in the Bible that God will destroy the church. It will be ripped to shreds. I believe the Jezebel spirit is really, the false churches, the churches that were built up and people be fornicating with them because they be going to them and giving gold. It was really hard to leave with grace, Jennifer. It took everything in my being to leave with grace. I think that's why I was crying so much, because it was such a transformational experience. And then I had said that I learned that from Valerie Love. Nah, I really didn't learn it from Valerie Love. I had that grace within me the whole time. Like everything that Valerie Love supposedly taught me, I already knew that within myself through spirit. those are gifts and things that Spirit gave to me deep down within for free. And He's given these things to everyone on the planet for free. And it's always there. It's just a practice of remembering that the grace of God is always there. And it was blessed with me to say that I learned grace from Valerie Love. No, I didn't. I learned grace from God. I learned grace from Jesus Christ, from the teachings of Jesus Christ. That's where my grace came from. And I know that grace is of God. And if every spirit is of God, then grace is within each and every one of our spirits. And I hope that God can forgive me for saying that I learned something, you know, from her, when really it was already given to me the whole time from God. So I wouldn't want anyone to learn the lesson that I learned in the way that I learned it. I would just like to remind everyone, don't go out into the wilderness seeking something that God already gave you, because you're going to go and you're not going to find it. And you're going to go and you're going to experience woe and emptiness and disconnection. Because the fact that you're doing that, you are cutting yourself off from God, Source, and you're looking for it in another. And I don't understand how she went from life coach to all of a sudden now being worshipped. She should be telling people not to worship her if she was truly of God, but she's not. She is straight up embracing being worshipped. And it's not just her, there's many other people out there. For example, Teal Swan is not worshipped, but she goes out and helps and heals people. I love that you talk with me in this, Jennifer. Jennifer says she has brought things to light for me. I just didn't see it myself before. That is what other humans can offer each other. Yeah, and that may be true, but that doesn't mean you go and worship that human and kiss their feet. And it was blessed of me to say that I gained something from her when really I gained it from God. And I was given it already from God. I just hope that God can forgive me for that. And He probably already has. I guess in a way I could never forgive. Yeah, I guess I can never forgive myself for that. Never in 1,000 years would I. Never in 1,000 years would I think I would do that to myself, or such things would come out of my mouth. And I hope never anything like that ever comes out of my mouth again. Ever. So if you guys ever start to love me a bit too much, I'm gonna tell you guys to knock it off. Because that's not the lesson. We're all learning that same lesson though. Indeed it is. And I think that forgiveness can only be gained through God. And I know that may sound a little bit dogmatic. If you know God is in you, you must forgive yourself. Yeah, but I really can't. Because, see, I went against myself for practically worship. I was almost worshiping this woman. These people are willing to give their life for her. The freedom to worship God in any way. Jesus Christ taught us how to worship God properly through thanks, through fasting, through prayer, meditating in God, not meditating in other people. I probably look like such a dork. I'm using this thing though. But you know, I'm so grateful for the lesson because it's made me, you know, such a stronger person. But I forgot to mention the vision. Yeah, now I do know my path more clearly, and I'm gonna get to the point, the lesson, or you know, the aha. So we had a meditation that we did where we summoned Jesus Christ, and in the meditation, Jesus Christ came up to me, and he ripped off my wings. I had wings in this meditation, in this vision. He ripped off my wings, and out of my back came out these rays of light. And I felt like it was a premonition of what was going to happen there. Or what was happening there. See, because I was seeking an external teacher. That teacher was going to rip off my wings. Or was already in the process of doing it. But the rays of light that I saw, you know, it represented that Christ/God would become my wings. And the wings that I had were the wings I gained through Valerie Love. And those wings I never needed to begin with. Because, see, I was going to be given, or I already had, because those wings came, you know, from within me. It is a holy place. A holy thing happened to me there, definitely. So, these rays of light came out of my back in this meditation, in this vision. So basically, the physical wings represented the false knowledge, or the external desire, you know, to gain knowledge and power. You know, those things, you know, that was not what it seemed. Nothing was as it seemed. But in the long run, I was reminded of the wings of God. And one of her followers was like, "You're never going to be able to earn back your wings." And I told them, I'm a lot stronger without those wings. Because I got the wings of God. See, we gotta let God be our wings, and not things of the fleshly world. And I think that's the lesson we are all learning on this planet. You know, that's the big test of faith. So if you came late, restart the video. I gotta go. I just wanted to share that with you guys. So I think it's going to be happening across the world. Prepare to have your fleshly wings ripped off, because we're all going to have the same lesson, one way or another, and we're going to learn about our true wings. Wings that can't be ripped off, and they are the wings of God. Me going out relying on external wings, when I had the wings of God within me the whole time. And it's the same with all of you guys. Seek not a prophet. Do not look at me as a prophet. I just share my experiences. I live to serve. I wrote my book for myself to get closer to God. You don't have to buy it. You can just read along here with me. If you would like to buy it, thank you so much. You're putting food in my belly. You're helping me get to places. You're helping me get closer to God, and I appreciate that. But I'm just here to testify, I believe, to testify my journey with Christ and God. So I love you guys, and I will be back tomorrow or the day after or whenever I feel compelled to. I operate on God time, and that's the only time there is.